It holds a market twice a week. Everywhere you go, you're aware of a towering presence, known affectionately as the Boston Stump. It's the Church of St. Botolph, and this is Botolph's town, Boston. It's hard to believe, but there are people moving around on the crown of the tower. It's the stonemasons, Phil and Tony Leonard, being advised by consultant mason Tom Tinkler.
Oh, that's getting better. I think you've got to be lifted up on this bed there, Tony, and it will bring it almost centre, I think. That's how better is it when it's like that. We've got a bit more compound to this other side. Only perfect.
Tom, how many buildings have you worked on?
Oh, quite a few, really. In fact, I've got a list of 347 of the British parish churches. Yeah. 10 of the cathedrals and 4 of the major abbeys, which I've had the great privilege of working on.
So what does your work mainly consist of, then?
General restoration, conservation, repairing the masonry and, you know...
You've not much trouble with acid rain?
Not a great lot. Lincolnshire generally, or Lincoln Cathedral, does claim that they have a terrific amount of damage. Mm-hmm. We have some here, but I wouldn't think it was awfully severe.
So what do you make of this church?
Oh, well, what do we say about Boston? It has been said that it is a giant amongst the British parish churches. To that I would add that it is also a gem amongst them.
I'd say that too. Yeah.
When you start at the east end with this magnificent decorated period part of the building, with its beautiful curvilinear stone windows, and then you get to this west end where this magnificent 15th century tower has been built onto it. It is an absolute beauty.
It really is a gem, as you say.
Oh, it is. It is a gem of a building.
Do you feel an affinity with the workmen who've gone before you, the generations of stonemasons that worked on these buildings?
I think you're bound to get this feeling because each and every day we're dealing with stuff that they dealt with before us. We even use the same tools or similar tools to what they used.
And of course, some of the craftsmen left little messages behind, didn't they?
Oh yes, in the case of Boston here, up in the vaulted ceiling to the tower, we found a little bottle that they'd left behind with all sorts of information in it.
Really?
And we, in turn, when we cleaned this tower down, have left our little time capsule up there so that those who come after us can see what we were doing.
Wonderful. Now, I know you like organ music, Tom. You've got a treat in store. David Wright, who is organist and choir master here at St. Botolph's, is going to send the mice scurrying around the church as he plays Bach's Toccata in D minor. On the road behind the Methodist church, a coffee shop is a favourite refreshment stop for Bostonians. It's run to help two communities in a variety of ways. Carmela Riddell is a charity project organiser. Carmela, when did you start working for charity? When did you become involved with this project?
Well, it all started way back in 1975 when the Bangladesh, they were fighting for their independence. They'd had a dreadfully bad time since the establishment of, since the freedom of India. And the war of independence was fought with indescribable cruelty. I mean, wars are always cruel, but the country was devastated, and the pictures coming out of Bangladesh were just like the ones coming out of Somalia now. And at that time, my children were growing up, and I'd always thought about the idea of joining two communities, a third world community with a Western community, to see if you could help in a long term, help them to re-establish. So we searched about, and after quite a time we managed to contact the Jalshatra area, where you've got the Himalayan mountains and the Garo hills and then the Madhupur forest, and that's where our people are. And we said, yes, let's get together on this. So we told the town what we were hoping to do, and from that moment onwards, Boston has backed us. They've been really good. They've supported everything we've done, and every single year, everything we do makes a bit more money than it did last year.
But you've got the coffee shop here. People in Boston become involved here too, didn't they?
The Centenary Methodists very kindly gave us permission to come in here, use this room 3 mornings a week, and we have all sorts of people, often people who have perhaps had some trouble in their lives, and they come in, and it's all voluntary help.
So, what's the money used for altogether?
To start with, of course, we had a totally devastated country, and they said, if you can make this work, thousands of people will be saved from starvation. So the first necessity of life is water. And so we started sinking these little rower pumps. And one of these little pumps will supply clean water for a family of perhaps 12 to 15 people. Clean water to drink, which cuts disease by half, and enough to irrigate their crops and grow perhaps 4 crops a year, keep them going. Would you like to try it?
I certainly would, yes. Here we go then.
So you see, it's quite easy.
It is, isn't it, eh?
Yeah.
And water pumps had a great part to play in creating the prosperity of Lincolnshire. The marshes and fens were drained by wind pumps, and the new land grows fine crops. Windmills are making a comeback. This one in Boston is fully restored and grinding corn for flour, with plenty of customers and visitors just fascinated by the romance of windmills. Here's Jackie Scott with Windmills on Her Mind. The River Witham flows from the heart of Lincolnshire into the haven, past St Botolph's and onto the sea. Boston was a thriving port in the Middle Ages, exporting mainly wool and trading with Northern Europe. Today's port is doing well again with our European partners. Cargo ships and Boston's fishing fleet use high tides to negotiate the river and the channels in the Wash. This area of mudflats and sandbanks is truly a haven for wildlife. Bob Lord is site manager for this region of English nature. Bob, what's so special about this area?
Firstly, I think it's the size. It's an enormous area, about 166,000 acres. And secondly, the wildlife. It's a site of special scientific interest, and the mud out there supports enormous concentrations of marine organisms, which feed up to 250,000 wildfowl and wading birds at peak tide. Some of these birds come here from the high Arctic regions. They stay here for the winter. Some will feed and then move on to Western Africa for the winter. There are some sections of the Wash which are owned and managed by English Nature, by the RSPB, and by the local conservation groups, the Lincolnshire Conservation Trust. And it's quite amazing to me how everything seems to be in balance in this delicate system.
So what are your problems then?
Well, in the past, there has been the enclosure of upper levels of salt marsh into agricultural land. And in the 1970s, wildlife conservation organisations got together and fought the case for wildlife, and since then no more land has been taken in. But I don't think we can be complacent.
So you've got to fight hard to keep it going then?
Oh yeah, but I'm absolutely amazed at how wonderful everything seems to be working in the Wash. Nature seems to have this wonderful balance in things. But I think over the years, despite man's exploitation of the natural resource here, there is still an awful lot left to see. You know, quite rightly, it is a wilderness, and it's such an evocative place to be in the middle of swirling masses of waders and wildfowl during the peak periods in winter time. It's a truly wonderful place.
During World War II, Lincolnshire had 44 airfields. The Royal Air Force fought the enemy in planes that are now classics: Lancaster, Spitfire and Hurricane. These veteran planes are based at Coningsby, in the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight. They're in demand at celebrations all over the country. Today, they're flying over Lincoln. There are many reminders of the bravery and bravado of the men and women who were part of the flying service during the war, like the Airmen's Chapel in Lincoln Cathedral. Here at East Kirkby, two farmers bought an old air traffic control tower to save it from demolition. Fred and Haddle Panton also bought a Lancaster, and they've created a very evocative museum. It's dedicated to their brother lost on a bombing raid. Fred, how is the Heritage Centre formed? How did it come about?
Well, in 1972, my father said to me just out of the blue, he said, now Fred, he said, what I want you to do, he said, I want you to go to Germany, he said, and get me a photograph of Chris's grave. I said, I will. I said, that's just what I've been wanting to do, I said, for 30 years nearly. So it rekindled all the interest back after I'd been to Germany and found his grave and saw it, and the interest seemed to come back, which I always was interested, but I'd forgotten about it for above 20 years. Then when I came back, and this Lancaster was up for sale in the national newspapers, and of course me and Harold here, we started thinking, well, you know, we'll see if we can't get that.
Now a farmer also, John Chatterton became a flight lieutenant, flying Lancasters at night on 30 missions. What was it like flying a mission on one of these?
Well, it's 50 years ago, and most of the worst things you tend to forget, but I remember a series of contrasts, really. Being intensely afraid for certain periods of time, and then again being bored to tears because nothing was happening. I remember the awesome grandeur of a burning target underneath and all the flak above it that you had to fight your way through. And then 20 minutes later, you'd be in a clear sky with just the tranquility of the stars. I remember all the worries about icing and being lost in fog, but that was offset by the the comradeship of the 7-man crew. And it was marvellous to get home and see the flare path when you're in an airfield, and better still to hear the welcome voice of a little waff saying, "Hello, Yorker, you're clear to land, runway 26, over."
Down you came. Now your son's in the RAF, isn't he?
Yes, I'm very proud of him.
Yes.
He flies to Lancaster at Coningsby.
Oh, in the memorial flight?
Yes, that's
oh,
right.
Great.
And he's just been upgraded to captain.
Not far away, at Woodhall Spa, a unique squadron is remembered. The RAF took over this hotel as an officers' mess. And it was here that 617 Squadron, the Dam Busters, relaxed and dreamt of the peace that was to come. It's a lovely day tomorrow. Tomorrow is a lovely day. Come and feast your tear-dimmed eyes on tomorrow's clear blue sky. If today your heart is weary, if every little thing looks gray, just forget your troubles and learn to say, tomorrow is a lovely day. Just forget your troubles and learn to say, tomorrow is a lovely day. And I hope it'll be a lovely day for you too. That's the end of Highway for this part of Lincolnshire. Next week, Highway goes to the city of Lincoln. I'll see you then.